Joe?
Don't kill me.
Those the last words, Joe? Ready? Aim!
Nobody dreams of becoming a millionaire by killing cockroaches. Nobody grows up wanting to own hundreds of washing machines. And almost nobody looks at a plumbing company and thinks, that's the business I want. But something strange is happening in America. Investors with millions and sometimes billions of dollars are buying businesses exactly like these. Plumbing companies, HVAC companies, pest control, landscaping, car washes, laundromats. Businesses that most people would describe with one word.
Boring.
So why are sophisticated investors buying them? The answer might change the way you think about business forever.
In March 2026, Reuters reported that American Residential Services, a major American HVAC and plumbing company, was exploring a sale that could value the company at more than $3.5 billion. Think about that. A company whose core business is fixing people's air conditioners and plumbing could be worth billions. And it isn't an isolated example. Just 2 months later, Reuters reported that Apollo agreed to invest $2 billion into Apex Service Partners in a deal valuing the home services company at roughly $10 billion, including debt. Apex provides HVAC, plumbing, and electrical services across almost the entire United States. So clearly, someone sees something here. But what?
The secret isn't technology. It isn't a revolutionary product, and it definitely isn't glamour. It's something much simpler. Demand. People will always need functioning air conditioners. Pipes will break, roofs will leak, pests will appear, grass will grow, cars will get dirty, and clothes will need washing. These aren't trends, they're problems. And problems that people are willing to pay to solve can become extremely valuable businesses. Now imagine you own a pest control company. You find a customer, you solve their problem, and then you offer them something even more valuable. A reason to stay. Instead of calling you once, they might pay for regular treatments, month after month, quarter after quarter. The same customer can generate revenue again and again. And this is one of the things investors love: predictability. Imagine two businesses. Business number one makes $1 million this year, but next year it has to start from zero. Every customer has to be found again. Business number two makes $1 million, and thousands of customers are already scheduled to come back. Which business would you rather own? That's the difference between chasing transactions and building recurring revenue. And the numbers show why buyers are paying attention. According to BizBuySell's Q2 2026 report, service businesses represented 40% of all reported small business transactions that quarter. BizBuySell also says buyers remain particularly interested in service companies with recurring revenue, lower capital requirements, and operating models that can be transferred to a new owner. And Stanford's latest research on search funds tells an even bigger story. A search fund is essentially a model where an entrepreneur raises money from investors, finds a private company, buys it, and then takes over as the operator. In other words, you don't necessarily have to invent the next billion-dollar company. You can buy one that already exists. For decades, the dream of entrepreneurship sounded like this: come up with an idea, build a product, raise money, hire a team, hope people want it. But there's another way. Find a business that already has customers, already has employees, already has revenue, already has a reputation, and buy it. Stanford calls this entrepreneurship through acquisition,
And according to Stanford's 2026 Search Fund study, nearly 60% of search funds have successfully acquired a company over the history of the model. The median purchase price for companies acquired by searchers in 2024 and 2025 was about $16 million. And services were among the leading industries targeted by searchers. This is not some internet hustle. It's a legitimate path to becoming an owner. But there's another reason this opportunity exists. Look around America. There are countless businesses that were built decades ago by their owners. A plumber starts with one truck. A landscaper starts mowing lawns. A pest control operator starts knocking on doors. A family opens a laundromat. And slowly, they build something. 20 years pass, 30 years pass, and eventually the owner wants to retire. But there's a problem. Who takes over? The children might not want it. Employees might not have the money to buy it. And the owner may not have a successor. So, a perfectly functioning business can reach a moment where its biggest problem isn't customers, it's ownership. And that's where acquisition entrepreneurs see opportunity. Now imagine what happens after the acquisition. The business isn't necessarily broken. It might simply be under-optimized. The old website gets replaced. Online advertising is introduced. Customers can book appointments from their phones. Old customers receive follow-up messages. Maintenance plans are introduced. Scheduling becomes more efficient. Technicians spend less time driving around empty. Financial reporting gets cleaned up. And suddenly, the same business starts producing more. This is the part people miss. The investor isn't necessarily trying to invent something. They're trying to make an existing machine run better. And then comes the really interesting part. What if you don't stop at one? Imagine buying one HVAC company, then another, then another. The companies continue operating locally, but they're now connected under a larger organization. Shared technology, shared marketing, shared purchasing, shared management. A larger customer base. This strategy is often called a roll-up, and fragmented industries like residential services can be attractive targets because thousands of small operators are competing in the same markets. That's one reason private equity has been so interested in home services. You're not betting that people will suddenly want air conditioning. They already do. You're betting that you can build a better company around the demand that already exists. But here's where the fantasy ends. Buying a boring business does not automatically make you rich. In fact, it can be incredibly dangerous. What if the owner was the entire business? What if the best employees leave? What if customers don't stay after the acquisition? What if the equipment needs hundreds of thousands of dollars in repairs? What if revenue has been falling for years? Or worse, what if you simply paid too much?
I've made a huge mistake.
This is why serious buyers don't just ask, "Does this business make money?" They ask, "Why does it make money? Is the revenue recurring? Are the customers loyal? Are the profits real? Can the company survive without the owner? Are employees replaceable? Is there room to grow? And what happens when the economy gets worse?" Because a boring business can be an incredible asset. And that's why this story is bigger than laundromats, or plumbing, or pest control. It's about a shift in how people think about entrepreneurship. For years, the glamorous version of business was about creating something nobody had ever seen before. But there is another path. Buy something that already works. Understand why it works. Improve it. Grow it. And eventually, own something much larger than what you started with. That's why the next generation of entrepreneurs may not be building the next flashy app. Some of them
are buying the companies that fix America's homes, maintain its properties, clean its cars, and keep everyday life moving. So the next time you drive past a plumbing company, a laundromat, a pest control truck, or a tiny landscaping business, don't just see a boring company. Look a little closer, because somewhere in America, someone may already be figuring out how to buy it. And while everyone else is searching for the next big thing, they might be making their fortune by owning the thing that was already there. That's the secret of boring businesses. They're boring until you see the money. If you want to see the businesses hiding in plain sight, subscribe, because the next one might be even stranger.